Hey, we live.
I've heard.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's gonna be a very interesting show tonight. Very interesting show. All right, everybody coming on in already. Yeah, guys, it's definitely gonna be an interesting show. I know that that headline kind of triggered some of the people out there in regards to what we got to talk about tonight. But we're gonna shoot it for
That's
real,
the plan.
from the hip, man. How y'all doing? What's going on?
Oh, well, welcome in, everybody. What's going on?
DJ Brick City, what's good with you? One of our day ones.
Way the niggas.
Yeah, man.
What's up to y'all?
How y'all doing? All right. Welcome to another episode of CMCT. I am your host, Choice Skinner.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You feel me? Listen. And this is Antonio Dean. And this is a happy Tuesday, man.
Yeah, it is.
That's really what we're trying to say.
No doubt.
It's a happy Tuesday.
No doubt, man. This man love making me laugh. If y'all ain't already noticed. That's the sign of a good friendship, man. When you have someone that enjoys making you laugh, man. You know, I'll tell y'all this, man. Antonio sends me links to different things. We send each other links back and forth, and usually it's about anything dealing with the black community, anything dealing with martial arts, and anything dealing with humor. Definitely on that regard. So you make sure you hold your, I'll use one of Antonio's words, make sure you charge your friends in regards to making sure that they're doing their job and keeping you laughing every now and then, man.
Absolutely. Life ain't shit without laughs, man.
It's not, man. It's not. As well as,
you got enough stress.
Enough stress, man. Enough stress. So, yes, guys, thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate everybody who catches up with us on Tuesday and Thursdays. I got some good news. Today I can't talk about one thing in particular, but I can talk about one of the other things in particular. You'll be hearing us talk more about our short. I just have a feeling Antonio's going to jump in and say something funny. That's why I laugh. But our short, 2 killers in a car.
It's a good film, man.
It is. As I said, 2 niggas in the car.
It is 2 niggas in the car. You know, talking that good shit. Considering the circumstances.
Oh, my ears are itching. Damn.
It's a hell of an interaction.
It is.
You know?
It is. And already from people who watched it, you know, people who I've given a exclusive look at it, just a peek, because we're waiting on the color and the sound to be completed. They said Antonio did a phenomenal job, and I was like, okay. First time out the gate, that's how you do it. Win the race. So you'll definitely be hearing more about that in the next couple of weeks, because this is the month that it shall be completed. And I'll have some great news. Hopefully next week I'll be able to talk about this. Can't talk about it right now, but I have some great news in regards to another project that I was a part of. Good words of that. So we are looking to be back in our home soon, our original studio. So guys, just keep doing your best to help us out. And how you can help us out is by going to our link tree and donating. Yeah, donating and helping us by reaching into your pocket and giving.
Or your digital wallet.
Yeah, your digital wallet.
You know what I'm saying? Cash App. Take Bitcoin too.
Yeah. And
however you find it on your heart.
It's not there. What's going on?
It should be that one.
This one here?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Now we in the house.
Now we in the house, into his house. So if you'd like to help us out in any capacity, if you'd like to show your love and support us in any kind of way, you can go to our Linktree page. And if you look at the Linktree page, you can see we're currently renovating our spot, back cave, place that you're used to seeing us in. We will be back there soon. And you can click on that And you can donate in different denotes, right? Different denotes. Yeah.
Denotions?
Donations, different denotes.
Denominations.
Denominations. Yeah, I think so. Denotes, and guys, look, when you're a person and you're big in education, you're big in knowledge, you're big in intellect.
I got too many fucking words.
You have a lot of different words, and so that's something that's always good to know about yourself, that you may have 5 different ways of saying one thing. But anyway,
money.
Help us out.
We're saying money.
Money, plata.
Money.
Plata, dinero,
money.
okane.
That's what's being said. Money.
Yeah, chavo, money, So yeah, you can book our services as well. We have $20 for a personalized video message at 2 minutes. Can't do more than 2 minutes, but $20 at 2 minutes. $100 for a therapeutic venting session per hour, and $150 for a 20-minute interview on the CMCT podcast. We'd be able to definitely edit and record and make it all polished and make it look great. It can either be live or pre-recorded, but both includes post-editing. And then you can also just donate it to us through Cash App and Venmo. And also we have a Patreon page, we have a YouTube page, which is definitely right now being streamed live. And if you don't have that, that's CMCT_show. Again, that's CMCT_show. So all of our shows, all our previous shows are listed on the YouTube page. So if you've missed any of our days, our Tuesdays or Thursdays, you can go to YouTube and you can click on one of the shows that may interest you, that you may have looked for and couldn't see on our Instagram. But it's linked there and it's listed there, so you can go there. And we also have our Instagram, CMCT_show, which you should add. And we have a Facebook page, TikTok, Twitter. TikTok, I haven't put anything up recently, even on my own TikTok, but soon, absolutely. Thank you. So yeah, guys, we had a movie outing this weekend, man. We went to the movies this weekend.
Went to the movies.
Yeah, went to the movies, and we saw Chevalier. What is it?
Chevalier.
Chevalier, yeah, Chevalier. I can never get it right, and that's crazy because I'm into other languages, but I had walked around the house saying Chevalier the whole weekend, and then I get on the show and I can't say it right.
What was the first? French was the first language outside of English that I got interested in.
Oh yeah, it's the language of love. That's part.
It's an ugly ass language, is what it is.
German is ugly. German is rough. And Russian, right?
Yeah. I don't mind Russian as much as I mind. I think French is really hideous. The way that they speak, their inflection. It's not. And all of them niggas are sweaty and dirty. You know what I'm saying?
When I went to France, they are very rude in regards to you attempting to speak the language.
Yeah. Very cocky, very arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
I respect that to an extent, but
yeah, you have to be able to speak it well, because I mean literally I was doing something just to English. He's like, yeah, don't even.
Most of the European countries speak English, man.
Mm-hmm. So we went and saw this movie Chevalier, and it was 5 of us in the theater.
Yep, 5 people in the theater total.
5 people in the theater. So when you hear these people always saying...
During the matinee.
During the matinee, yep. During the matinee. Because there was only really 3 shows for that whole day. Mm-hmm. It was the, that show that we were in.
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Mm-hmm.
There might have been one after.
Yeah.
In between that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, why is this important? What's going on, brother?
And you should see it. It's great.
How you doing, man? Why is this important? Well, it kind of moves into our topic for tonight, that it all worked around the same time that we went and saw this weekend. We talked about it on our Thursday show. But we're kind of bringing this in to help people understand that Black people are capable of amazing things. Amazing things, man. We're a gifted culture, man. And I'm not just talking about Black Americans or, you know, Nigerians or Ghanaians. I'm talking about anyone that has melanin in them. A high melanin count. We are gifted. Yes, Sage, it is a great topic. It's definitely, you're one of those people, brother. Thank you for always chiming in. You're gifted. I mean, your life in itself is very powerful. So, watching this film, you know, of course, anytime you watch a biopic, there's room for a dramatic license. You know,
right.
They kind of turned this one into more of a romantic, you know, let down type of situation. But, you know, you can always go and look up on Google and research people. They have a lot of documentaries on YouTube. A lot about his life. You know, Joseph's life is coming out more and more now. Stuff that people should know. Like, I've been in music pretty much all my life, and I never knew about him. One of the things that made me laugh was because, you know, one of my favorite artists is Prince. And in one of the interviews that Kelvin had, he was like, well, there wasn't really any true information about his personal life, like how he walked, how he talked. So I talked with the director, and he said, you know, we figured out who would be this type of guy. Like, you know, this man was able to do so much, especially in the music game. Who would he be like? And so him and the director agreed to use Prince as a prototype. So it was funny because when you and I were watching the film, there was a moment where I was just like, oh, okay, I see that swag. And it kind of made sense. I was like, yeah, because he was kind of, the way he was walking, maybe he got that walking scene where he was walking in the party, you know, he had that swag. And Prince kind of had that same type of swag. Yeah, room in the room, you know. And, you know, the film does touch on a lot of the stuff that he was capable of doing and the awe that people had for him. And that's a thing that we have to understand. Like, Sage, your artwork, man, I was in awe when I saw it. You know, who we are as a people, man.
Yeah.
You know, being able to do the amazing things. This man could speak several different languages. He rode horseback better than anybody in France. He was the top #1. He beat the #1 fencer in France. He became the #1 fencer. Well over 100 duels. Not only that, when you look into the history, really like go and do the research, this guy could literally shoot a button with a pistol. And you know anything about those pistols back in the day, his aim was so good he could shoot a button.
Yeah.
From a distance.
Which is hard to do with them raggedy ass. You gotta understand that he truly put the time in to master those weapons.
He was a great composer, an amazing composer. He made Beethoven nervous. They actually shared space together, but in the end, Beethoven hated him, probably mostly because he was envious of him. You know,
well, it was too easy for him.
Yeah.
That's typically the way that goes. You know, you've put so much time into your life's work and understanding something, and maybe it didn't. Maybe you became great at it, but it wasn't exactly natural to you. And then you see someone who kind of just roll out of bed and get right to it.
I enjoy that though.
No.
There's things that you can do that I'm just like, man. You know what I mean? And I never, like, anyone that knows me knows that when I look at the greatness of a black person, because one of my #1 phrases and my mottos and the thing that I speak, and it's even on my business card, greatness recognizes greatness. I am great because you are great. And in order for me to be great, I gotta see the greatness in you. Right. And so I enjoy seeing, especially black people, who we come from a lot of nothing, man. Like we have great lineage and we have great ancestry, but a lot of us, you know, that phrase of black people were released in a capitalistic society with no capital.
Right.
It's very true. A lot of, you know, I was a project kid. My mom always made sure we had though. And then at a specific age, she went back to college, got her GED, went to college, and graduated with a bachelor's degree. You know, with 5 boys in the projects. And a dog.
I think it's something to be said too that you know, our most recent history isn't exactly captivating in comparison to the history of our forefathers as black people. You know, We have opportunities. You know, I definitely don't want to say that we don't, but it's hard on most of us, man.
Yeah.
It's hard being put somewhere where the ghetto is made. It's not there by accident.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's designed.
Yes.
To marginalize and disenfranchise. And, you know, they've disassembled our homes. And all of these different things. When that is your background as an entire community for the most part, God damn, it's hard, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very, very hard on our history.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we barely even have clothes that we pass down for our future generations at this point.
Yeah.
You know, what we don't transfer wealth. We don't transfer legacy and lineage.
Mm-hmm.
Most people aren't even keeping up with the history of their own family.
Yep.
There's really not much to tell.
Books and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much to tell.
Sage says it's all that we created from that nothing that makes them so nervous that they had to beat it out of our heads. Weeds killing great oaks. God damn.
Yeah.
Woo.
Absolutely.
Weeds killing
and
great
to that.
oaks.
I'll catch up to that in just a second. We got from Figure Speaks says, I don't think they are afraid. I think a lot of us were just not taught to be successful, and we don't unite enough to learn that all we need is each other. I agree with that, but that's a result of what I was about to bring up, which is Lyndon B. Johnson, man.
Right.
What a dangerous and overtly racist president. You know, he made it a point, and you can go and look this up. You can find this man speaking on film.
Still on tours.
Where he said, I won't say verbatim, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but it was very overt, his expression. He said that he was going to ensure that black people got the bare minimum, just enough to shut us up. He didn't want us to have anything.
During the civil rights movement.
You know, he wanted to ensure that we had to scratch and scrape for every little thing. And then he also wanted to give incentive, and he made this very clear. That's the welfare system and all of the other subsidies that they're supposed to be positive for us, but really they weren't. It was to ensure that they tore down our households. They made sure that the women thought that the government could be better to them than their own men could.
Yeah.
That was a written plan.
And they achieved that. Yeah, they achieved it.
You know, it's documented. This is not something I'm making up. This isn't coming from an angry place, and this isn't a witch hunt on black women. This is facts that are documented by a U.S. president on what to do to us, to keep us apart, to make sure that we didn't quite ascend beyond our current state at the time. And really now it's not too much different.
Yeah.
It looks different, but it's the exact same game, the exact same state.
Because they build a facade in regards to the people that they've lifted up. You know, if you notice, the black community is moved and greatly influenced by celebrities more than anything.
Yeah.
You know, what people don't understand is the political people are celebrities. They're not true political people.
Nope.
So when we see a black person in politics, whether Democratic or Republic, conservative or liberal, that person is still a puppet. And puppets are made for entertainment.
Well, I always say this, but we have to always remember that this is a representative government. You know, representative government means that we'll have a million faces to point at, while the actual do-batters are behind the scenes pulling strings and working against us. So we never actually get to the root of the problem because we're too busy looking at the front that they've given us.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? What's Lady Muse saying? I see she's over there saying some stuff. What you saying? Hey, Lady Muse.
She type shit. She will.
Lady Muse, day one. What's up? Sage Gallion said, Willie Lynch letters. Some may debate the authenticity of the papers. However, the content can not be debated.
Alone.
That's right. That's right.
The concept alone, even if they were just written as some sort of deterrent, as something you know, an apparatus of fear mongering.
Mm-hmm.
It worked.
Mm-hmm.
Say what you want, whether they had them, you know, pre 1867 or not.
Post. Mm-hmm.
It worked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the mind is not very hard to trick. The spirit isn't hard to trick, not hard to break.
Yeah.
Especially when you go in the order of the hierarchy of the stability of a community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, first the men, make the women watch, make the children watch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it trickles down from there. So,
in the film, what was the line that stuck out to you the most that you remember? Because I know there were several things that stuck out to me that hit. You know, there's always, and for me, I love film, so there's always a little bit of knowledge and stuff in there that make you go, you know, because what people don't know is that the director is black, right. The writer is a black woman, and then of course you have this young brother. You know, what people don't know about Kelvin Harrison Jr. When you look at this British invasion that we have, they're better actors. Kelvin Harrison Jr. only studied 3 years before he got his first major break, and it wasn't through a major, like, you know, conservatory like Yale or anything like that. He studied at an acting studio in Los Angeles, and you know, he was into music long before he was into acting. And so for him to be able to, you know, that's what people don't get. For him to be able to run a feature film by himself, lead man, working it in a French accent, and you know what I'm saying, doing all this stuff, like the violin. Talk about that level of discipline.
right.
He played the violin 6 days straight, 6 hours a day, for 6 months. Crazy.
That's right.
Crazy. You know, him and his dad came up with a routine. His dad is very instrumental in his life. So what was the line in the movie? One line, because we're not giving any spoilers or anything. We hope everybody goes to see the film, despite what you may hear from other people about, you know, oh, well, he did so much more. Yeah, I mean, but, you know, shit, goddamn. But go ahead, brother.
It wasn't even a line. It was really the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Where his mom took him and reintroduced him to who he was, because he got lost in that snare of believing that that white people had truly accepted him, and that he could live in, you know, and operate in their realm at the same in the same capacity that they do. And he got a rude awakening. You know, I thought that was very powerful. You know, especially to see it on screen.
Yeah,
you don't often see it on screen, unless it's in the news and it's in the form of castration. You know.
Yeah, no, it definitely. I'll piggyback on that, man. When she told him, you know, just don't you're not dumb.
Yeah.
She reminded him. She like, you know, and you know, because she cornrowed his hair.
Yeah, which, you know, we don't know if that might not be real, but
hey, it was a symbol.
Yeah,
it was a symbol. Know. But you know, the writer of the film, she said it was the toughest project she's ever had to be on. And I know what she meant by that. You go to her Instagram and she talks about it. She's like, you know, she's like, it was a blessing. Any form of success, I guess, for people is a blessing in some capacity. But also it was a curse for her, because I'm pretty sure it's not the same script that she initially wrote and submitted.
Figure Speech says that dedication came from the love of his craft, and he found himself in that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Look.
You spend time with something.
Come on, man.
You gotta find yourself.
Come on, man. You know, we're you know, martial artists of the highest degree. Yeah. You know, and sometimes our conversations, these guys, you know, we're looking and we're like, what? You know?
Yeah. Because everybody's looking for shortcuts. They're not looking to actually take the time to put into something and make it their own.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
You can respect the core of something and still make it your own, so that you can find yourself in it.
It made me go up, and because, you know, a lot of what happened, like I said, they took dramatic liberties in the film. Yeah. a lot of what happened in the film actually didn't happen in real life. But you have to always know that when you watch these biographies. That's why it's important for biographies to come about for a form of entertainment, but also it's important to stir something up in you to go and research. And then maybe go back and look at Marie Antoinette again and the hoe she was. You know, so
I meant to look up and see if anybody is, if there's any rumors of them having.
Oh yeah, there was.
Sort of trips.
There was. He smashed out because you know Joseph was very handsome, man. You know the one thing about that black gene, man, is dominant.
They had my nigga in the socks with the belt on it and all of this. You know what I'm saying?
Even a walk. Remember that one time I was like, boy, he barely can walk in them damn shoes, man, because it probably didn't feel natural.
No.
You know, and so anyway, I'm pretty sure he banged out the queen. You know,
he had one of them nice glued on wigs or whatever with the powder and shit.
Hey, Akono. Hey, Akono, I want you to talk. We're talking about, you know, the tonight's topic, so you definitely gotta talk about that because, yeah, man, it's make sure you guys chime in. So my boy, my only fear is God. He said, all facts. Not all of us are ready to accept it, but rather live under the lie of America and its false liberties. Woo! Y'all on fire tonight.
Well, no, you know, I think that's I'm gonna read something that I wrote later on in the show, man. But I know that our people are always content because everything from our vantage point, everything seems like a step up.
Yeah,
I think in total.
You've said that, man. Yeah,
it's really unfortunate that it only takes just that much to silence us.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've said that before, man. You know, guys, if you haven't seen Chevalier. God damn it. Anyway, Chevalier, go see it. Don't wait for it to be on video because then they go, oh, well, you know, we make these films, you don't support them. It's important that we support this film, first off, because I'm sick and tired of hearing, we're going to talk about this on Thursday as one of the topics, but I'm sick and tired of hearing about Albert Hughes, one of the Hughes brothers, was saying, you know, British actors are better, black British actors are better. I'm sick and tired of hearing that, first off, because I've coached some amazing actors, and I am an amazing actor myself. And Kelvin Harrison Jr. to me is one of the brightest right now, man. He did a phenomenal job. Yeah. So support that brother, man.
Yeah, he's a hell of an actor.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
you can tell he really took the role serious. You know, I don't like to compare, but I would say that he reminds me, his presence reminds me of someone who takes roles serious, such as the way that Denzel always took his role serious. Really made it. You know, he found himself in that role, and man, he played it very well.
Mm-hmm.
Played it very well.
Mm-hmm. You know, fencing, everything, all of that, man. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a speck of what Joseph Bologna was able to do, but I mean, horseback riding.
Yeah, they really couldn't. That's why we talked about it on the show before we actually went to see it. One of my concerns was, will they actually have enough time in the film to truly hit on all of his accomplishments? And they didn't. But what they did get in was great, and I think that it should be something that sparks in anyone who watches it. You know, the need or the want to go and study up on him a little bit more.
To show, listen, if we always are talking about that, the black community needs mentors. It needs people that we can look at as references of what we're capable of doing. Right. This man was one of those people. You know, what does it mean to be great? Let's get into that, because I think there has to be clarity in regards to what we're bringing forth about the conversation tonight. What does it mean to be great? Because we have parents and people who in our life were great.
Yeah.
You know, my great-grandmother and my grandmother were great women. You know, they were great in what they were capable of doing. You know, my grandmother had 9 kids. She had 9. And 2 that she lost, if I'm correct. I can't remember for sure. But the greatness of who we are as a culture, you know, stems from a lot of what we were capable of accomplishing, but also what we endured.
Yeah.
Right? So what does that mean to be great? Maybe we need to look up the word. Sure. Great.
I don't think that's a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome in. Let's see. What does it mean to be great?
Chevalier. What's going on, the real Kennedy? How you doing? All right, great.
Of an extent, amount, or intensity considerably above the normal or average. The article was of great interest. An important or distinguished person. Excellently. Very well. And then let's see. Merriam-Webster, we'll do dictionary.com, and I know Wikipedia always has something.
Couple of somethings.
Something good for us. I'll type it in. Sweet.
Yeah,
let's
man.
see.
You already see it.
Great may refer to great, a relative measurement in physical space. Greatness, being divine, majestic, superior, or transcendent. And then we got dictionary.com, which says notably large in size, of a kind characterized by relative largeness, elaborate, ample, large in number or measure, predominant, remarkable in magnitude, degree or effectiveness, used as a generalized term of approval, eminent, distinguished, aristocratic, grand, chief or preeminent over others, often used in titles, markedly superior in character or quality, especially noble, remarkably skilled, marked by enthusiasm, keen, more remote in a family relationship by a single generation than a specified relative.
Great grandfather.
Long continued, principal, main, a reception in the great hall, full of emotion, great with anger, an outstandingly superior or skillful person. And lastly, unusually or comparatively large in size or dimensions, unusual or considerable in degree, power, intensity. Very well, a person who has achieved importance or distinction in a field. Great persons, collectively.
So a lot of different definitions, but they're pretty much still.
There's
on
a common
point.
theme.
Yeah, common theme. Yeah, we can go to that. Yeah, you know, guys, listen. When you hear your great grandmother, we just saw that. Your great grandfather, your great granddaddy, or whichever definition or description you use about those who were ancestors previously. They were great because of specific reasons, and we just see that in the definition. A lot of those things in regards to what they've contributed to you getting to where you're at, which kind of segues us into our next thing that we're going to talk about. You know, you guys who are parents out there, we talk a lot about parenthood, and
Absolutely.
we also talk about generational wealth. And I don't think people realize that, how important that is.
To your legacy.
Yeah. I just shared this link on the couple of links I shared on Facebook. I think, listen, Instagram is a great place for entertainment to me. You can scroll through and also keep up with friends and see what's going on in the trends and stuff. But Facebook is a valuable space to share information. And I know a lot of people have migrated to Instagram, and they're not on Facebook anymore.
Instagram, TikTok, all of that.
Yeah, all of the easy, palatable, quick stuff.
Well, they get to scroll.
Scrolling, yeah. A lot of information in a short amount of time, but it's mostly just stuff for entertainment value.
Yeah.
Facebook is a place where you will see these links, man. And this is, even though we're talking about Chevalier, right?
Sure.
Is that right? Chevalier, there wasn't a lot of people sharing that link on Facebook, but Women King, the last Black Panther film, they were sharing links. They were renting out theaters.
They made those movies billions.
Yes, to hear mothers say, "I took all my sons to see The Woman King. We saw it twice, but here's a film about a man." And I'm being very real about it. Yeah, about a man of color, a man with melanin, Y'all ain't taking nobody to see that. You ain't taking your kids to see that. You definitely not taking your sons to see it.
And the pictures, his portraits from the time that they painted, he wasn't like a white passing mulatto.
Not at all. He had some melody.
Other than that goofy ass, they was wearing them stupid ass wigs and shit. But other than the goofy ass wig, that nigga, man,
he was black.
He was at least my complexion, if not darker.
Yeah, he was black. It was obvious. It was obvious he was black. There was no denying it because remember the man sends the letter talking about something. We'd love for to challenge your mulatto. Right. Your mulatto, which was an insult back in the days. Anyway, we're talking about current day now, and we have situations where every now and then you'll see these great stories, man, where people understand a lot of what Antonio and I are constantly talking about. Fatherhood, generational wealth, giving your children a running head start,
something actually better than what you had.
Yeah.
Not putting them in Jordans and puff coats
right.
and all of this stupid shit that don't mean nothing in the future.
Right. You spending, $5,000 on their birthday party. You know what I'm saying?
There's a friend of mine on Facebook. Her name is Lucille. I won't say her last name, but she has 2 daughters, and unfortunately, she's a single mother. However, she makes it a point. She's not putting on her children, name brand crap and all of this silly shit that don't have nothing to do with their development. She has them in fencing. She's taught them to invest. She has them shadowing her when she's doing real estate work. They're buying and refurbishing homes and putting them back into the community and their, in their local vicinity. And she invests so much time in giving them experiences that she didn't have as a child. Not passing her trauma off onto them of having been poor growing up. Making them think that what they need is gotta have jewelry and all of this crazy silly shit that don't have nothing to do with how will you develop. How will you matriculate into adulthood? She makes it a huge point, and she shares that on her Facebook, because she has so many friends, and she wants them to see that, she spares no expense on her children, man. In that respect.
Right.
And on top of all of that, diet. She gives them a better diet than she had growing up. She understood that, or she understands that. That's going to be imperative in their development and how they move forward as well. So, man, y'all got to do better by these kids. And, just because you didn't have an iPhone growing up don't mean your kid need an iPhone.
That's damn straight.
Nigga, just because you didn't have PlayStation, whatever, and Dreamcast and all of this silly shit growing up doesn't mean your kid needs it. They need experiences. They need the things that will help them grow and give them perspective that they can take into the world.
Yeah.
My nigga Mexican Eric, you know what I'm saying? He says, as a Mexican, you don't see too much success besides in comedy or a minute number of chefs, but it's rare. Wow. As far as their community.
Wow.
Well,
one of the things I can commend them on is they're very big on tradition.
They do pull their resources.
And they're very big. Yes, on community. Yeah, you guys are very big on community. And I just saw footage recently of one of the Mexican flags. I guess it fell off something. It was in the street. Somebody was braving traffic just to get to the flag. That's just
nationalism.
Yeah, they're very big on that. And of course, the black community, we're very pan in our thought process. Pan, it's all about black brothers and sisters who don't give a fuck honestly about us. Nigerians are calling us a kata, you know what I'm saying? And not all of them, but just, there are people out there.
Well, that's what they show us.
Yeah, of course. The disdain towards who we are. We got to do better to show otherwise. We got to show that greatness, and that's kind of what we're talking about with this segment here. There's a father, man, he believes in his rite of passage being something like this, man. He's not waiting on United States government
to come and put something in his pockets.
To give a promise that was made to our ancestors.
Yeah.
He's doing it on his own.
So, we can grow a legacy. Dad's gift of 40 acres on son's birthday, rooted in powerful history. I don't know why the picture's blacked out, but whatever. A California father gifted his son a 13th birthday present that will benefit his family for years to come.
We have that in the, we have the picture in the.
Oh, gotcha.
You got a couple of songs too.
I'll restart from the top. A California father gifted his son a 13th birthday present that will benefit his family for years to come. An opportunity to build generational wealth. Fahim Muhammad, a Los Angeles-based security director and real estate investment company co-founder, gave his eldest child 40 acres of land in San Diego County as a rite of passage. San Diego, that is some valuable land.
Yes, it is.
Excuse me. In the black community, there was a promise of 40 acres and a mule, and I thought it would be a good play on that, Muhammad told USA Today. He referred to U.S. General William T. Sherman's Special Field Orders No. 15 announced in 1865 near the end of the Civil War. The orders, which were later overturned by President Andrew Johnson, bitch-ass nigga, would have allowed newly freed families to receive 40-acre plots out of 400,000 acres and to lease a mule from the U.S. Army, according to the Georgia Historical Society. And really quick, a lot of our families did receive land
It was taken.
and mules,
It was taken.
and then sharecropping was introduced.
Yep. And that's how they.
So the same way that they tricked the natives of this land, they tricked us through treaties and fucked up contracts, and were able to enforce it by what they wrote down and got us to sign, you know, under the guise of helping us, as usual. So don't get it twisted. You know, I ain't saying that they kept their promise, but it was backhanded, very backhanded. 400,000 acres, nigga, out of this entire nation is bullshit.
Yeah.
Absolute bullshit. Because they took much more from us. I'll read that one more. The orders, which were later overturned by President Andrew Johnson, would have allowed newly freed families to receive 40-acre plots out of 400,000 acres and to lease a mule from the U.S. Army. To lease. Ain't that a bitch?
Right.
Which
Which is the lowest form of animal on a farm in regards to working.
They need horses.
Right.
And maybe they did because horses are technically mules, but you know. Any event, according to the Georgia Historical Society, Muhammad, who bought his first property in 2015 in his childhood LA neighborhood, gifted his son a portion of 198 acres of land he and his business partners purchased in 2021. Business partners. I am assuming, based on his name and his demeanor, as we see in this article, you know what I'm saying? Clearly. At the very least, he came together with some other brothers and sisters, and they pulled their resources together so that they could pull this off. You know, and that's powerful. No, well, listen, Eric, I'm not Mexican, nigga. But nah, I'm kidding. It says mules are technically horses, not the other way around. So get you a mule.
Yeah, because donkeys and horses are
same family. Right. Zebra, same family.
And that's how they make them.
Different distinctions.
They have a donkey and a horse mate, and then they have a mule.
Where we at? Fahim Raid Muhammad found out about the surprise via social media, he said. We went hiking for my birthday. We just had fun, Fahim said. When he returned home, he saw an Instagram post revealing his dad's gift. I texted and called him trying to figure out what's going on, what's happening. And that's how I found out the whole 40 acres thing, he said.
He gave his son land.
That's insane. And it's beautiful. Teaching, I'm glad this has coverage too, and it's on USA Today, you know, the frequented news source. Teaching the values of land ownership. After the Civil War and by 1910, farmland ownership of black Americans peaked as they rapidly bought over 16 million acres, according to the American Bar Association. That's bullshit.
Wow.
It wasn't that they bought the acres.
Going back to what you said.
On paper, in a roundabout way, they owned it. But it was rapidly being stolen from them by way of sharecroppers. You know, the sharecropper contracts. If you don't know what that is, please. You have
Look it
Google.
up.
I don't have the time to get on white people right now the way that I want to. So anyway, after the Civil War and by 1910, farmland ownership of black Americans peaked as they rapidly bought over 16 million acres, according to the American Bar Association. That percentage dwindled over the 20th century, and by 1999, black people owned 7.8 million acres of land worth over $14 billion at the time, a United States Department of Agriculture report showed.
See, so this is the problem that I'm having.
Jesus.
This is the problem that I'm having. Because a lot of what you're saying is very true. But in 2 paragraphs, you have information from 2 different sources.
Sure.
Why the hell would the American Bar Association have anything to say about land, first off? Because that's contractual, right? That's the bullshit. And then the Department of Agriculture report showed. So what I'm thinking is probably there was a point where the Department of Agriculture came into being, and that new information from 1999 and on was able to be documented.
And they're tracking private ownership as well.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? But it's still bullshit though, any way you look at it.
Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it dropped much further than 50%. As a child, Muhammad Sr. says, watching his entrepreneur mother endure tough times while still maintaining her status as her own boss and eventually buying her first home influenced his interest in real estate investment. He wants to instill similar values in his own children. We see this land as an opportunity that we can pass down to our children, he said. We can grow a legacy. We can create generational wealth where it outlives us and our lifespan. I'm going to read that again because I need y'all to understand the magnitude of this. Okay? This is very important. We see this land as an opportunity that we can pass down to our children, he said. We can grow a legacy. We can create generational wealth where it outlives us and our lifespan. Assets. Actual assets. Not, what is this shit, Balenciaga and Da Vinci and Louis Vuitton and all of this silly shit, man. Stop wasting your money on these billion-dollar companies. Trust me, they'll be okay without our patronage. And it's beautiful land. If you're on YouTube, I wish we had pulled that picture. I put it up.
It is beautiful land. Well, you can see it in the picture behind him.
Oh yeah, you know what? Never mind. That is it's the same shot. So the land behind them in the photo on Instagram, you can see. Man, this young man has water, man. And I don't know if that's a part of the Pacific or not, but the young man has water. Yeah. He can clean it. That might be a spring for all we know, or there could be a spring near. It's 40 acres, man. So much to be explored for his benefit.
Rich red dirt, untouched, untapped.
Man, congratulations to him. Generational wealth is important. Obtaining 40 acres at 13 was unexpected, said Fahim Jr., whose birthday is March 16th. That's my great-grandfather's birthday. And that is also Quincy's birthday, Mario's son, and Mario's brother. They all share the same birthday. Anyway, it's like, whoa, what am I going to do with all this, he said. But as I grow up and he teaches me the importance of owning land, I'll know more about what to do with it.
Say that again, because that's an important line.
Yes, it is. He's not talking stupid. If I could, make it simplistic.
He didn't say I'm gonna have a big ass party.
Yeah, he didn't say no dumb shit.
On the spot.
He said he's gonna follow his father's lead. It's like, whoa, what am I gonna do with all this? He said. But as I grow up and he teaches me the importance of owning land, I'll know more about what to do with it. He's already got some ideas. All-terrain vehicle camps, cabins, and Airbnb properties rank among them.
Yep.
Whatever he has planned for his land, the teen seems to be keeping his father's lessons in mind. Read that again. Whatever he has planned for his land, the teen seems to be keeping his father's lessons in mind. If you have land and you pass it on for years and years, and your whole family continues to grow it, then it can become something big, Fahim Jr. said. That's why generational wealth is important to me. The child said that.
Yep. Young teen.
13-year-old young man said that. That was beautiful. And man, you know, again, congratulations to him and his successors in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very inspirational, very powerful. You know, when we're looking at success, man, and the things that are supposed to make us great as a people, what signifies our value and our growth. You know, we should be looking at things like this, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We should be looking at the things that will actually propel us forward. You know, and I know a lot of us think that what will fix it is that somehow all of us have to come together first.
Yeah.
But you need to start in the immediate vicinity, man. Talk to these kids.
Yeah.
There are children in your immediate vicinity, I'm sure, who could use some good word.
Yeah.
Some actual guidance.
Yeah.
You know, say something positive. The young minds are listening, man. They're especially when they're in their formative years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's from the ages of what is it, like 4 to 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You know, start talking to them then, man.
Yeah.
Those are their formative years. They
Yeah.
understand.
Well,
children can be bilingual at that age.
Yeah, absolutely. They should be bilingual.
You know, stop.
Yeah.
You know, stop discrediting them
Mm-hmm.
and limiting them
Mm-hmm.
based on what you went through and what your limitations were. It's not for you to break through your own limitations at that point. It's to ensure that your children break through what your limitations were.
Mm-hmm.
That they never know what your limitations were.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
not personally at least.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, congratulations to both of them. Congratulations to both of them.
It should be shared on everyone's Facebook page.
I agree.
Everybody that believe in, you know, the community needs help, and you know it needs to we need people out there to make a difference. And like I said, people are looking at the wrong people for advice. You know, if you're looking for Kamala Harris to guide you because she's a black person in politics, you look
What
at
is she actually saying? You know.
Yeah, it's horrible, man.
I want to bring up. I was watching Jesse, and I'm gonna read that comment in a second here.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to read, or excuse me, I was watching Jesse Lee Peterson talk to Godfrey earlier.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know who they are, you know, Google.
Mm-hmm.
But Jesse Lee Peterson spoke about Maxine Waters,
Mm-hmm.
and no disrespect to the woman, but he asked, why is it that black men can't create housing for themselves and for their own families?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that they have to wait for the government to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Why must we wait? And he said that one of the things that turned him off for Maxine Waters is that she reinforced that thought process and that behavior, that pattern, because she told the LA, you know, at some LA church thing or whatever, but she told them that she was gonna ensure that the city didn't tear down the projects, and that she was gonna see if she could get them to build more project buildings.
Wow. I ain't heard that.
How does that benefit us?
Wow.
You know, and he said, does she live in a project building? Is that love that she would say that to us? Do her and her children live in project buildings in LA County? You know, dealing with crime and all of those things? How about boosting up the education system? She didn't say any, you know, and again, no disrespect to her. She, you know, she got positives too as a politician, but we have to look at the underlying things. What is it that they're really saying to us? Mm-hmm. What is it that they're really trying to give to us? Mm-hmm. How does it benefit us to force and cram everyone into one small location?
Like rats, literally.
You know, that creates those ghettos that I talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. You know, whether that be in a small neighborhood or particularly in a project building. Mm-hmm. That's what you're promising us as a politician, as someone who's supposed to love the community and see what you can do best for us. You know, go and fight for the shit that's actually going to benefit us. Start with the schools, the education. You know, that's insane. Mm-hmm. Give us some community centers where kids can go and interact with one another and love one another and learn together. And, you know, where they got, you know, put farms at those community centers and gardens and, you know, hold fencing and boxing and technology. You know, create some clubs. You know, those are the sort of things that we should be doing to show love to our community.
Yeah, because we need outlets. I mean, I was fortunate coming up in the 80s where, you know, we even had PAL, which was the Police Athletic League, which was successful until they ended it. You know, Denzel Washington talks all the time about the fact that he was in the Y programs. You know, all of these programs that no longer exist.
Or at least they're not talked about. They're not promoted.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's upon us to, you know,
everything is a hack on YouTube,
yeah,
Facebook.
Yeah, well, and then even then we talking about, you know, passage, rites of passage. Yeah. And in one of the other articles about this father, and that's what he had talked about. And
is it up?
I think, was it up there?
Oh no,
no, it's not up there. Okay, yeah, but yeah, it was a different article where he said, "Is you know, we don't have that anymore in the black community, rites of passage. Whereas you look like in the Jewish community, they have what's called bar mitzvah, and then even in the Latino community, Mexicans, they
something
have
to celebrate the
quinceañeras
and all that shit.
Yeah.
But the things that celebrate your, you know, your fuck is the word I'm looking for? Your ascension to adulthood, manhood, womanhood. You know, that should be celebrated. You should have those people in your family, in your community, who you look up to or who taught you something. They should be coming together and telling you, now is your time. This is what you're charged with. This is what you owe the world.
And your community.
This is what you owe your community. You know. That's not something that we experience.
No.
You know? And to that, Eric said, coming of age. Thanks, pal. He said multiple generations of wealth on another coin could lead to generational greed. You know, and it's not to despair what we just read, but it's a pattern in today's culture that must be broken, is what he's saying.
Yeah, I mean...
We have to tear that down.
Well, it exists in people who have no idea of what money is. Whereas
what assets are.
Yeah, what assets are. Whereas you see that this man was influenced by his mother. You know what I mean? To understand what it is to be in real estate and all those other things. If you look at any wealthy family or any rich family or any family that has money, they're taught at a very early age, the ones that are successful.
Yeah.
I know some people who are, you know, fucking wealthy, and the love that this young man that, you know, is one of my actors that I worked with, the love that he had for his parents is undoubted, it's unfounded. It's unmatched, actually.
Yeah.
So there's no greed there because, you know, they kind of raised him right in a sense. And I think that's the problem, that, you know, what we have in the black community is a morality issue.
Sure.
And which is
morality and focus.
Yeah, definitely. Morality, focus, discipline. We'll be talking about that on Thursday as well because did you see what I tagged you on about the Africans and they were fighting? Okay. Yeah, you get to watch that. Yeah. It's a thing of being able to find a way to funnel our frustrations because I think with the black community, that's part of it. I think, you know, martial arts should be offered in every school dealing with black kids. You know, have a period where they're able to get out of class and fight so they can understand the importance of not wanting to hurt people. And
how fragile other people are.
Absolutely.
That you can be hurt.
Yeah, right.
I think it's very, very important to understand that you are not invincible way before you are 20 and 21 years.
Yeah, which was part of corporal punishment for us as a culture. You know, we got talked down to. The talk shows did it. Yeah. The Ricky Lake shows, the Donahues, you know, because they would have black people on there talking about how we discipline our children. And that made white people go, oh my God, no, how can you do that? You know, that's horrible. You should talk to the kids. Talk to them. And you're talking about a child that has
their realities are different.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Claudia, welcome in. So there has to be things set in structure, even if it's like I was reading one article where they do kind of what we were talking about wanting to do with the kids, getting them out to be able to go out to other countries just to get an idea of self
Yeah.
and a sense of self. Because what
They
is
call that
greatness?
a rites of passage.
That is rites of passage. You know,
So it's rites of
leaving
passage
home.
program.
Leaving home is rites of passage. You know, I'm fortunate. My mom did it in several different ways. One of the ways my brothers and I, we hated it, but it influenced me greatly because I learned how to swim with it and I learned how to live off the land. Because when you go to camp and you're not in the projects and you're not in
man.
yeah, well that
See
and then you gotta
from different backgrounds.
yeah, you learn what poison ivy is and how to stay away from it and how to be at one with the animals and how to be at one, you know, because there was farms there. You got to see horses and feed sheep and all of that stuff, you know. It's imperative that we as a culture learn to you know, find those things other than what the kids are prone to be a part of. You know, just wanting to go see Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Right, so he said, Eric says, this goes all the way back to the Count of Monte Cristo, by one of my favorite writers, Alexander Dumas, where even if you were brought up with everything and to respect money, you can still be jealous of the man next to you who has less.
True, and to let you know this little bit of history, Alexander Dumas was in the regiment of Joseph Bologna.
Mm-hmm.
He was in his regiment. And Alexander was also black too. People don't know that. Mm-hmm. Dumas. So it's funny that you mentioned that because yeah, one of the documentaries I was watching, they were like Alexander Dumas was in Chevalier's you know regiment. The time is moving by fast, man.
Oh yeah, we are already.
Yeah, it's
shameless plug.
Go for it, brother.
Sure, guys. Send us money. Linktree, tip us. Drop stacks and racks on us, please. Let me see. Well, you all, if you're on YouTube, you will see our CMCT show Linktree page. Now, this is important for a myriad of reasons. Mostly because we have to panhandle rather, you know, coins out of y'all because we need help renovating our podcast studio. Okay, we got a lot going on, and we're looking to give back to the community, to serve the community by creating a bit of a community center in a way for the children to be able to come and spend time over the summer so that they can learn more about
media and film.
You know, media, film,
martial
cyber,
arts.
IT, martial arts, discipline, boxing, even some field work, so to speak, or landscaping, I'll say. You know, just a little bit of everything that I have in my toolbox and everything he has in his toolbox, and we want to bring it to the community free. But we got to renovate and get some things up to code to be able to share that with the community here. So if you can find it on your heart to give a fuck about these little kids the way that we do, you know, help us out, man, so we can get this off the ground sooner rather than later. Anything you can do is greatly appreciated and welcome in that respect. We also have a number of unique services that we offer. We have a personalized video message, which can be up to 2 minutes for $20. That video message can, you know, maybe you need us to motivate someone, maybe you need motivation, maybe you want us to say something funny, you know, just to, you know, to create a lighthearted moment for you, whatever that is. You're more than welcome to send us the details and outline what it is that you would like to see in that video. We will not be nude, you know what I'm saying? Probably can't do that for you. You know,
I don't know if the price is right.
Well, you know, I'm not doing that for $20.
Not for $20.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
You know,
This ain't OnlyFans here, guys.
$20, you know, personalized video message, man. Just let us know, you know, how you would like that done. We also have a $100 service, which is a therapeutic venting session. It's $100 per hour. You know, call either of us or both of us. We can FaceTime. We can Google Duo, whatever other video services you'd like to use, even Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat, so that your personal information doesn't necessarily have to be shared with us, your contact information in that respect, but you can reach out to us and we can sit down and take the time to go over whatever it is that you're dealing with or going through. And our main goal will definitely be to help guide you towards a solution. Okay? Whatever that may be. And even if you don't want a solution and it's just something that you really need to get off your heart and you need an understanding ear, an empathetic ear, you're more than welcome to reach out in that way as well. We also have a $150 option for a 20-minute interview right here on the CMCT podcast. These interviews can be live or pre-recorded. They can be live or pre-recorded, and both options do include post-editing. However, the pre-recorded option makes it so that we can add different effects and such that you may or may not want. Just depends on how it is that you want the world to see you, and we'll do our best to ensure that those wishes are carried out properly. All right. And outside of that, you can send us tips. You know what I'm saying? Donate to the cause, man. We got Cash App, we got Venmo. We're working on our Patreon. Our YouTube channel is here on the Linktree page. We have an Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. So go ahead, follow, subscribe, and go and like some of those videos. Help us get the viewership up so that we can start getting the ball rolling to really start doing the things that we would like to for the community.
Right. Absolutely.
Thank you all.
So, going into the next hour, and we're talking about the greatness of black people. Are black people afraid of greatness, of being great? What does that mean? I've always, at a specific point in my life, once I understood the world in the mind of who it was as a kid, I always wanted it to be great. I wanted to do better. That phrase is used as a more comedic sense nowadays. Do better. Y'all gotta do better. No, it's just something that once you get to a certain place of understanding what it is you like to do, right? It could be music, it could be athletics. When you look at some of these people who have achieved a great status, the reason why they were able to achieve that great status is they didn't let anything get in the way of them and their objectives.
Correct.
And that's important. You see a lot of these guys, they gain and then they lose it all. You see it mostly with men. They get caught up, right? After all those years of, doing, you do see it with some women too. Some sports players. What was that? Sha'Carri? Is it Sha'Carri? What's her name? Sha'Carri Richardson. And that just happened again recently with somebody else. They got caught with weed in that system.
Some silly shit. Yeah.
It's stupid. It's like, greatness doesn't just stop at achieving the objective. Greatness is keeping that objective.
Well, they have something in, I believe this is all karate styles, but you can become a 9th Dan. But to become 10th Dan, which is 10th degree black belt, you have to move the system forward. It can't just be only that you've practiced and mastered, the traditional training. You have to move it forward and be recognized by the top of the karate World Karate Federation to even be considered for 10th degree black belt. So you don't just achieve it; you have to take it further than it's ever been taken. You must bring change to the system, positive change that can bring in and bring on more repute, more prestige to the style itself. But yeah, so no, that goes along in saying that. It doesn't just stop because you finally
Got
You know, you have to keep going. You know, elsewise, what are we doing any of this for? You know,
Yeah.
building a legacy is a powerful thing, and it takes a lot of effort on your part.
We're gonna talk about two different situations that kind of piggyback off of each other. The other one, and not that one over there. Yeah. So in 2019, we had a student a black girl, who in high school got close to $9 million in scholarship offers. She received over 130 college acceptances. It was close. You know, when you think about it, that's astronomical, man. Like when I was in high school, picking out where I was going to go, you know, for college, because the high school that I went to was Samuel J. Tilden High School, specializing in history and law. And so you pretty much was being moved on to either get into legal, you know, learning to be a lawyer, or politics, or you were getting into computer science, because they had a really good computer science program as well. One of the top in the city for that time. And, you know, after your SATs, you go, you know, to the colleges in order to figure out which college you're going to go to. I think I got accepted maybe to John Jay, maybe one college, and I didn't go because I took the SATs. I didn't do bad. I didn't do too great either, but I took them. But anyway, to hear someone saying, and at that time, there wasn't any money involved in applying for college. Now I'm hearing that, you know, you got to pay to apply to colleges, which is absurd. It's absurd. But anyway, she did over 130 college acceptances and close to $9 million in scholarship offers. This girl in Louisiana, Lafayette, Louisiana, right? And so this happened in 2019. She broke a record. We probably need to set this up.
So, local teen receives over 130 college acceptances and close to $9 million in scholarship offers. A local teen was accepted into over 130 colleges and universities, received over $8.7 million in scholarship money, accepted into 5 medical schools, and offered 16 full rides.
That's insane.
18-year-old Normandy Cormier from Lafayette had no idea that when she began the college application process a few months ago, that this would be the outcome. Cormier is a senior at Early College Academy and a student at South Louisiana Community College. She completed high school and courses. I'm assuming they're saying college courses. Yeah. She completed high school courses for an associate's degree a semester early back in December 2018. Over the past few months, she's been on the hunt for schools. The biochemistry-bound student made a short list of desired schools after a little research. Little did she know how many letters would come rolling in. The aspiring surgeon was also offered more than 4 national prestigious scholarships in the world. Wow. She has until May 1st to make a decision. Cormier has set a new world record for receiving the largest dollar of scholarships in the world in the Guinness Book of World Records.
That's insane. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's dope.
You know what I mean? Now, why are we talking about an article for back in 2019? And this is the thing, because the next article we're going to go over, a lot of people don't even know about that one, right? But this one here, I had to search to find who it was that this other one had surpassed. So this girl, for what she was capable of doing, she set a world record for making almost $9 million in scholarship funds. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But now, fast forward to today, this month, this week, recently, we had this young brother who smashed her record. And because when I saw this, I was like, well, I wanted to know whose record he smashed. And how long was it? 5 minutes that I had to search to find some information on her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just about.
Just about. Which was odd to me because I'm like, okay, well, they should know who the previous person was with ease.
Yeah, it shouldn't even be a question.
It should have been, I mean, and it was maybe two articles on her in regards to that. And it wasn't that long ago. What was that, 2019?
4 years.
Yeah. I mean, I can find stuff on myself from 10 years ago online still. Pages of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, this young brother came and said, yeah, you know what? I'm going to support black excellence, and I'm going to show y'all that the young black man that you're watching on television with guns and killing, and looting, acting a fool, he's not just the only image that should be seen. This is the image here where he's showing that being great is not hard to find young black men who are great. I've been waiting since last week to do this because I was like, I saw it on Facebook, like I said, and I shared it. And the sad part about it is they don't share him. I remember her when I saw it. I was like, oh, I remember her. They're not sharing this young brother's story, and you guys need to get up on it and share it. You need to figure it out.
Yeah, because this is something that should be seen. Vice, all the different fights and shootings and stupid shit that get shared on TikTok. The different violence involving black people.
Young black men in particular,
with one another. Black women being violent with one another, black men being violent with one another, and black men and women being violent with one
each
another
other,
as
yeah.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Share the positive things that you see.
Mm-hmm.
It will slowly begin to shift the paradigm, but it has to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm. You put that picture up on your Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I sent you that one too. Yep.
New Orleans teen shatters record with $10 million in scholarship offers. In shattering the previous record of $8.7 million, Barnes received 170 acceptances from 200 applications.
30 haters.
Haters. You know what I'm saying? Teenager Dennis Barnes has shattered multi-million-dollar records and gaining interest from colleges and universities everywhere. Barnes, who goes by his middle name Malik, is a senior at International High School in New Orleans and has earned more than $9 million in scholarship money during the college application process. In shattering the previous record of $8.7 million, Barnes received 170 acceptances from 200 applications. Barnes told the New Orleans NBC news station, "I started to apply to schools, and as I've gone through the process, the numbers just started increasing." Barnes and school counselor Denise James worked to shatter the $8.7 million record after Barnes realized he was close. The record is further impressive because there are no third-party scholarships. Instead, all his offers came directly from the schools. Barnes first spent many hours applying to schools around the country, he told NBC News. However, as a teenager, school and extracurriculars took precedence over his pursuit. "I was still doing other things," Barnes said. "I did incorporate it into my schedule one way or another, but I just did it whenever I had the time." Barnes' participation in track and basketball and serving as the National Honor Society executive president made him a well-rounded applicant. He has a 4.98 GPA and speaks Spanish through an immersion school. That primary school foundation was imperative in his decision to attend an international high school. "That school was very important for me in my journey," he told the network. "They set a strong foundation for me going into high school, and I think that's a big reason I could say I am where I am today." International High School opened in 2009 when Barnes graduated from middle school. He attended Riverdale, a public high school outside the city, while many of his classmates attended International. The school's strong language department, which provides French, Spanish, Arabic, and Mandarin, that's awesome, was a big lure for him. as he wanted to practice his Spanish. There were plenty of options at the school that I had chosen from to continue with my languages, be able to strengthen them, and continue to learn, Barnes said. Barnes immediately impacted the charter school despite combining his sophomore and junior years into one with a dual enrollment at Southern University in New Orleans. He also noted International High School's academic reputation. They're known for putting out $1 million scholars, so whenever the idea was presented to me by my counselor, I hopped on board, he said. Barnes advised prospective college students to value education, especially African American students. There's always something in the news for athletics, and I think there's a stigma put on African Americans, probably others too, he said, about academic success. I think that doing well in school and understanding the importance of education is something that could break that stigma. Barnes credits his parents and James for his success. James helped him apply to institutions, prepare for college, and dual enrollment. She has guided me and instructed me in my best interests. That will move me forward, he stated. James has helped me get where I am.
We need to go back. We need to go back because he says, again, he thanked his parents.
Yep.
Parents, plural. That means his father is in his life.
Yep.
Contrary to what, a lot of the interviews you see, they always talk to his mom. Dad was probably at work. Yeah.
Yeah, he might have been at work.
Dad was probably at work. He probably got one of those jobs where he can't go and just interview.
Yeah.
But he thanked his parents. Or maybe they have, dual parent household type of thing going on where they're, not together. He thanked his parents. It means his dad is in his life.
That's crazy. It's playing an important role.
Yes.
Barnes credits his parents and James for his success. James helped him apply to institutions, prepare for college, and dual enrollment. She has guided me and instructed me in my best interests. That will move me forward, he stated. James has helped me get where I am. Barnes said he's grateful and excited about all scholarships and acceptances. Still, he insists that he's incredibly proud of those from well-known institutions like Xavier and LSU and other schools that traditionally don't provide many scholarships. Barnes now aims to exceed $10 million in scholarships and acceptances in the coming days. With 170 acceptances, he said he's being more selective and won't hedge on which school he'll choose. Barnes plans to decide by May 2nd.
Which is today.
Today.
Look at the tags real quick.
African Americans, Black community, Black history, Black schools, Black students, Black teens, Black women, civil rights, community, education, news, San Diego voice and viewpoint. Scholarship, United States voice and viewpoint.
What tag is missing, guys? What tag is missing? Black men. It's a young black man. But they got black women there. Why?
Black students, Black teens, Black women.
No black men. So you gotta understand there's always this thing where it's like, all right, this is why it's important for us to stand up and to do the work in regards to making sure something like this is out. Put this out. Put it on your Facebook. Put a picture of this young man.
A young black man who was, he's excelling rapidly.
Man. And shout out to all you parents out there. If you got kids that's graduating this year, they're not pregnant, they're not on drugs, and they haven't been in prison. You know what I mean? You did
on TikTok,
you did it right. Right. You did a great job. You know what I mean? You can do more. You can always do more. But look at this young man and what he's accomplished. The power in that. That's what we mean by greatness. Why is it so hard for people to even want to move towards that? What is it? What do you think? Let's get into that. What is it?
Great question.
What is it that's making people not be on the level of being able to accomplish this kind of stuff that this young brother is doing?
That directly plays into what I said I wanted to read earlier that I wrote a few years back.
Okay.
I may paraphrase because I was a young, angry
black man.
Young angry black man at the time that I wrote this. But But I was thinking, even with mentors, kids still pick to be losers. Yes.
Right, but that's what we're talking about. We're figuring that out. Like, why? We're gonna discuss that for the rest of the night.
Well, Dame Dash made an interesting statement. He said that it is selfish when you have children and constantly talk about how you will try to benefit yourself. It's not about you. Once you make a life, you build for them, not yourself. I've equated this to the revolution, quote unquote. Blacks are constantly saying how we will benefit one another and ourselves, but no one cares about how we should benefit our legacy, our future. The president is here for the American system. Enlistees are here to support the military that protects the people. And the Air Force is saying it's service before self, meaning everything we do first is for the military. Nobody and nothing else. How many of you are actually willing to put the revolution, our legacy, before ourselves? Revolution is supposed to be raw. It is a type of war in whatever capacity. It means letting go of the things that we neglect to acknowledge are luxuries. Time away from children, parents, friends, letting go of material possessions and careers, giving your life to the cause, your legacy, and accepting that the revolution cannot only drive itself, it needs passengers. Could you deal with it? Placing yourself in a reality where there's no more fast food, sitting in your cars with air conditioning, name brand clothes, single person apartments, for your self goals or independence. You're fighting for the purpose of your own legacy. Our legacy, the gain of all your people. Our people have always tried to overcome obstacles in a system that is built against us, and you cannot become independent in a system that is built to tear you apart and indebt you. We want to continue to fight for more comforting oppression rather than actual independence because it's more convenient not to. I think that black people are afraid to face that reality. I believe that success is a huge responsibility. Revolution is a huge responsibility. Independence is a huge responsibility. And contrary to popular belief and what it is that we're told about ourselves, I think we all know this deep down. And we don't want to step up and assume the position. Take accountability for that responsibility. It's a huge responsibility to take your community's education into your own hands. To take your community's diet into your own hands.
Is that a mental thing or is that a moral thing? Is that a thing of, you know?
Again, we're content. You know, most people take the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
You know, and again, we're so low. We become so low on the totem pole that any sense of progress is monumental to us.
Including self-gratification.
Yeah, sure. You know,
I bought this car. I worked really hard to get it.
Seeing niggas in fancy clothes at the Met Gala. That's supposed to be.
Oh yeah! Wow! Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, you know, something as trivial as that.
Very trivial and
know?
demonic at the same time. If you don't know anything about the Met Gala, but hey, who am I? What do I know? But go ahead, brother.
You know, these things that mean absolutely nothing. The fancy cars and all of this. You know, the shit that means absolutely nothing to our futures. To our legacy here in this country or anywhere else in the world for that matter. You know, what about our history? What story is being told about us? What do we want the rest of the world to see from us collectively? How do we want them to see us talk about what we go through? How do we want them to hear it?
Yeah.
How do we want them to feel? Those things are important, and I believe that we're one of the only communities that's throwing those concerns, you know, to the wayside, man.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that I've learned about figuring out what hill you're going to die on is that the fear, which is kind of why the question of tonight's show is, you know, are black people afraid of being great? I've met many people throughout the years who totally fear that spyglass on them, man. That spotlight, they don't want it. Because there's a responsibility of being accountable. It goes back to when they say sports players, you know, we're not your parents. Your parents are your parents. It's not our job to raise your kids. But yet still, society does everything in their power to turn their heads towards things that aren't parents.
Yeah.
So that's a continual battle. If you're a parent and you're, you know, yeah, your dad should be your superhero. Your mom should be your superhero, obviously. But what happens is with media, it force feeds people to see things that they want them to see. So those are forms of distraction. So you hear this young man and how he spoke in his interview. He was very big on staying focused on what he had to do. Education. Even though he plays basketball and he plays all those other things, and so people would be like, "Well, man, you know, you got to live life." You hear people say that.
Say that stupid shit. You only live once.
I always say this.
Trick us into believing we don't have the time.
Right.
To become successful.
Right. I always say this. You know, you can't have no fun unless your work is done.
Well, you got to earn it. Sam
Cooke's dad used to say, once a job has begun, never stop until it's done.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about Sam Cooke, at 9 years old, he was singing the lollipop sticks and popsicle sticks in the ground because he always knew he was going to be a singer. There's a point in all of our lives where we have to realize who we are, why we're here, and what we're here to do.
Yeah.
And God bless you if you're able to have that at a young age. I was fortunate at a young age, even being a product of the projects, of knowing in elementary school I wanted to be a martial art instructor. And I wouldn't stop until I got there, no matter what the adversity was against me. I always was very big on knowing that knowledge was the key. I knew that was the thing. I had great teachers, man. Mr. Estrada, he was this Panamanian teacher back in elementary school. And my mom went and saw him one day. He said, I have nothing to complain about, Skinner. He's you know, he was very big on telling us you don't want to be like your parents, like the ones that are on the corner. It hurt a lot of kids because a lot of kids in there, their parents was the ones on the corner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But mine wasn't. You know, my mom wasn't on the corner. She was in the house. She was always a housemaker, a homemaker. Whether that was something that was given to her at a young age, which it was because she took care of her brothers and sisters, and she just stayed with that. But yeah, you know, it's like having influences is important, but there's a point where you have to, upon yourself, you know, it's kind of like with me teaching what I teach throughout all the years, maybe on both hands, there are people who've made it skill level 4. You know, out of the thousands that I've taught, you know, throughout the years. It's like even in acting, the people that came through my doors through 11 years of teaching, you know, on both hands, those people who, you know, are working from TV show to TV show, from movie to movie to movie. Why is it that the others weren't able to? Why is it here as a black community, we don't have this drive, you know, this amazing drive to want to do amazing and to be great?
I think we've accepted defeat for the most part. I think so.
Yeah.
Because again, you know, to be content, especially when you look up and say, what all am I really up against? You know, and I think this goes for us as a community.
Mm-hmm.
By far and large, we do sort of just accept things are a little bit better right now than they were yesterday, and that's good enough for most of us.
Do you think there's a disconnect with understanding the past and the struggle of what that was?
Absolutely, because we're not even taught proper and accurate American history, our history here on this soil. You know, especially the last 3 or 4 generations of people. You know, or really it's about 6 or 7 different generations since about 1995. You know, these kids don't know. They have no idea what it is that's going on.
I think too that a lot of hypergamy is involved in regards to when you say, okay, look, we have an influx of single motherhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Single parents, right? They're raising the young boys, but where the hypergamy comes in is that they will take their kids, their sons, to go see Woman King, but they won't take their sons to go see Chevalier.
Yeah.
You know, that's a very serious issue. You know, the imagery of black men, like you see, okay, yeah, our young sister, she made, you know, almost 9 mil, but then this young brother made 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we're taught in media that, you know, black women are smarter, they're progressing more than black men, they get in colleges more than black men, they get more scholarships than black men. You know, it's pushed.
They're creating an unnecessary separation.
Yeah, and it's a false narrative when you see stuff like this. And I think also as black men, we have to be accountable of stepping up and saying, okay, you know what? There is a pride in being a black man. I'm very big on seeing, like I said, I always say, whenever I see a lot of young brothers that don't hang around other black men, that don't date black women, that don't marry black women, that's a sign. That's a sign. You know, and it's important that
losing his purpose.
Yeah, well, that and he has no idea of who he is. I mean, you see it a lot with you know, people not recognizing that there's this thing that you on one hand you have to speak, and then on the other hand you have to walk the walk.
Yeah. Word
and deed go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. You know, I can't be a man out there smacking the shit out of my wife and telling her I love her. That doesn't, you know, that's not real. That's not factual. Love is kind. Love is patient. Love is sacrificial.
Yeah.
So I should be able to, if I say that word, I got to be able to do the things necessary to back it up physically. And I live by that. That's very big for me because the thing is that people don't understand the word. Even in friendship, people don't understand that truth of friendship. They think, oh, we're hanging out and we're shooting the breeze and kicking it and talking. No, there has to be a thing of at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you call me, I gotta be able to be there for you.
Yeah.
And I should have no problem with that. It's not because it's entertaining for me to hear the information you're about to tell me. It's because I truly fucking care about you. You know, and what I've learned is that for most people, what it is there's a level of value placed, just like how it is with Balenciaga. There's a value placed there. So in relationship, you pose no value to me, so I'm done with you. And our community is on that same precipice. Frequency. Yeah. It's like, well, the black community has no value, so I'm just going to disengage from it.
It's been years of and not just here in the United States. You know, evil white people are hating everywhere in this fucking world. Mm-hmm. Man. The shit that they've done to Africa.
Let's talk about that too. Let's talk about that because I've learned that it is envy. It really boils down to envy. Yeah. I watched a video recently, and we may even talk about it on the show on Thursday, but I watched a video of these 3 black cops. They not black cops, I'm sorry. These 3 white cops in an unmarked car in New York. This dude was walking out of a burger joint, black man, you know, walking out, he got a drink in his hand, and these cats jump out the car, these cops, NYPD cops, run up to him, start grabbing him, and putting his hand, put your hand behind your back, checking him. Yeah, it got so severe to the point where one of the cops, it was a Latin cop, but he was Latin white, grabbed my man's dick. Literally, he grabbed him, and dude was like, "What are you doing?" Like, he was like, "What?" That was the end of the interaction. Like, it was, you know, it was seen on video. And he said, "What do you mean? What you mean?" He said, "No, you grabbed me. Like, you grabbed my dick. Like, you grabbed it. Like, it's not like you went and kind of scuffed it. You grabbed it and moved it because you're thinking you're looking to find something on me." But I always look at it, anytime I hear those situations, or I you know, because I've had friends that have been, you know, accosted by cops. Yeah. Anytime you go that far, there's an envy. because we know about penis envy, right? There's an unconscious envy sometimes, if not a purposeful envy, where they feel they can do that because they have the power.
Because power corrupts.
And so, talking about how it is how all of the world kind of sees black men and black women, because black women, y'all catching hell too. Don't get it twisted. Y'all got opportunities probably more than us.
Hate black.
They hate them, and they don't realize, but they're quick to be that's my friend, and this, which goes back to what we saw in Chevalier. When his mom told him, she told him.
Told you not to forget that.
Yeah.
You think because they put you in that wig and shit, it's all good,
Greatness recognizes greatness, but greatness can also promote envy.
Yeah, sure.
Because you're like Sage said, you're taking something and you're taking nothing and making it something, which
we
is
make plenty.
alchemy.
Absolutely.
The alchemy. Taking lead and making it gold. Yeah. I've felt that in my whole career as a martial artist and as a filmmaker. Even when I was music producing, I could make a beat in 5 minutes and it'd be better than what was on the radio. I've had music stolen from me. I'll say this by the Tonight Show. By another black person who stole the whole rhythm section of my song. And I'm watching it and I'm like, it's a certain real feeling to know that work that you've done, someone is just taking it. So that's surreal to hear music that you created to be taken, to have something taken from you. By nature, black people, we can create, so we don't need to take. But other cultures, because of that envy, that's what they do, to go in and to take countries and to, colonize them and say, what you have is ours.
The usurp, the appropriation.
What is yours is ours.
Yeah.
This land is ours.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? That's for me, even as a person in business, because I'm not the best in business. I'm quick to admit that. I'm learning to be better because I think a lot of men, black men in particular, because we're raised by single moms, we think in an emotional state. We don't think out of the purpose of true business. And so you have to admit, before you can build on something, you have to admit your flaw in it or your weakness in it. And then from that point on, you can build on it because you get stronger. And I've learned that, it's important for black families. Your father needs to be around his son so he can learn, just like with white kids. Yeah. Dad says, okay, the money, he comes from work and he says, you got to do this, these are your chores. My mom, we had chores and we had allowances. And I remember other black kids saying, y'all allowances, y'all think y'all white?
Yeah.
And so knowledge and money in the black community to black
disparity.
It's looked at upon as something that's white, not wise.
To understand and value money and what to do with it, how to use it.
Yeah. Because black people, especially when it comes to parents, I think they feel guilty, that there's a point in their life they didn't have, so now their kids are going to have no matter what. My child's going to have.
That's what I was saying earlier about pushing their traumas off on the children.
Mm-hmm. No, that kid need to earn no matter what. Do they still have summer jobs?
I don't know if that's a thing. Oh well, actually, child labor laws are being fuck is the word? They're lightening up on the restrictions here in the United States because so many people after COVID no longer want to work. So now you don't have to prove that you're of age to work. I think 16 is the working age for most states.
Right.
They're working on making it where you don't even have to prove that you're 16 to work anymore.
Okay, because we used to have the summer job program, and that was something that was great in the projects. It taught young black kids the value of work and making money. I mean, some of them hated being there, right? But I remember that with great fondness, that I knew I was going to have a check.
No responsibility, you know what I'm saying? Get some money. Layla Muse says, Her brother's 15 and he already has one.
Bravo. He's working, man. He's in the workforce. He's understanding the importance of showing up, being there on time, clocking in, clocking out. That doesn't mean he's going to stay there. He's probably going to move to higher level things.
It's a good foundation.
It's a huge foundation to have a job. And it starts sooner when you have these kids. Stop giving them everything and make them earn it. Make them earn it.
Well, you teach them value.
Yes.
You know.
That's why you have a lot of these kids now, man, walking into stores and taking what they want, walking out.
I mean, people have been stealing, but to teach someone value, you know, again, what is an asset? What are all my options with this asset? You know, knowing that it's not just that this is just a bag of chips or this is a video game I can go grab right quick, or, you know, they need to know what all of their options are. They need to know how easy it is to lose that asset and how hard it is to gain it. You know, the money doesn't just fall out of the sky. But in teaching them that, you know, you also don't want to fearmonger them under your own traumas and how you grew up. You also don't want to be so selfish.
Well, let's give some advice to
you know?
me that you're mentioning that. Let's give some advice to parents. How do they work with that? Because that is a very valid thing. You know,
there's a really weird thing about people in America, and I don't know how this came about, but a lot of people don't like to talk about their salaries. They don't like to talk about how much money they make, you know, amongst their peers and their contemporaries at work. However, I found that that's really stupid because all of us could be getting swindled. All of us could be getting paid under, you know, under what we're worth in this job and so forth. But to that, I think it's especially important if you have children, you need to be talking to them about the money that you're making, where it's going to, what it's being used for, what's being saved, how much these things cost. Don't necessarily share with them what the burden is and how stressful of a day you had at work just to earn X amount to accomplish whatever. But you teach them, this is how much money I made. I'm going to put this much towards this and this much towards this and that, and then we're going to go buy food. You know, we're going to make sure that we have water in the home. We're going to make sure we have toiletries and so
Bills
forth,
paid.
and gas. And, you know, you want to teach them these things. Share it with them. You know, my mom had us going up. It used to be a thing, you know, you go to the check cashing place and, and all of that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? And you're paying the water bill at the check cashing place and all of that kind of shit.
Let it ride.
Off,
Put 20 on it, let it ride.
You know, but she was teaching us that at a young age, man. I'm like, what was it called? Patelco and something else. Patelco something and AC some shit. We used to, I'm 5 years old, running up in there with a check and a little letter and all of this shit. Running up in the post office to mail off bills and all of that kind of shit. You know what I mean? That was very important. Now, did we understand, hey, this amount, this is what this is being used for, and X, Y, Z. You know, she didn't necessarily get in, you know, go into depth, but she did a lot more than most of us will ever teach our kids about money. You know, and one of the most frightening times of my life, you know, the first time I received a 6-figure offer letter, it was a thing. Yes, it was, Shalon. It was a thing. You know, I got an offer letter signed and approved and all of that for 6 figures, and I didn't know who to call.
On your own.
I didn't know what the fuck to do with that money.
Who could you talk to in regards to that amount? They, you knew you didn't know nobody that had that amount.
I had no idea what to do with it.
Yeah.
And no offense to my parents, but, you know, I knew that legally they had never seen that kind of money.
Nigga, how you think it is when I won the Wheel of Fortune?
Yeah.
Me, right?
Who do I call?
Who do I call? Other than congrats to my mom and who I knew I was going to give money to and pay back, because I'm very big on that.
Yeah. But I was afraid to call because I didn't want bad advice. Because I knew that was more than just a milestone. It was something to build upon. And that's when I started looking into investing. You know,
do the right thing.
What can I do with these assets? And then I shared that information. I didn't just sit on it.
Of course not.
I used to.
But that's not part of who you are. See, the problem is that a lot of times I'll talk about personality and I'll talk about people in general. For some people, personality is a working thing. For some people, they're set. Who you are at 5, you know what I mean, and the things that you learn at 5 coincide with who you are. And so, if you're a giving person, you know, as you get older and you receive the money, you can go 2 different ways. There's no middle. It's either you're going to be really bad with your funds or you're going to be really good with your funds. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because you don't know the value of it, so you're really bad with it, or you do know the value of it. So you say, okay, I want to be generous, but what happens is you become generous in a way of not knowing who to be generous with. And that's something that a lot of black people fall under. But in respect, you know, understanding personality in regards to how you balance that out with the knowledge that you've received, because the knowledge is crucial. You know, there's a lot of black people who can be probably really, really good with their money, but when they were growing up, they weren't exposed to how.
Well, nobody was showing them what their options were.
Yeah.
You know, all in all, you know, I would just say this, man. You have to be telling your kids about all of these bills that are being paid, and don't give them the stress of it. Give them the knowledge. Don't tell them, you know, nigga, this was 16 hours of work. Look like, and these white folks fucking with me and XYZ and all. You know, you don't need to give them all of that craziness. They don't need to know that you had to sit in traffic.
That's the fencing
and all of
that.
Know,
that's the fence's monologue when he tells his son, he berates his son by telling him. You know, it stands there, that monologue that Denzel, you know, gives in August Wilson's play Fences, and he tells him, you know, through this thing that you're talking about. It's this thing that there are a lot of fathers and mothers out there that, you know, they feel like they're instructing their kids, but really
they're offloading trauma.
Yeah.
You know, you're damaging the child when you do that. So you don't want to do that. You want to share with them the knowledge and give them small tasks. You know, teach them how to log into, you know, whatever the trash service and how to input the credit card and go and double check how much money you got in the account to make sure that it's there and wait for all of the money to come out for all of your bills and then pay yourself or pay yourself before you pay bills. You know, make those companies wait on the money. That is something that you're able to do. But why are you doing that?
Right.
You don't want to do it just to do it. You want to make the companies wait because I paid myself first. I didn't understand that when I was, you know, when I first got on my own, pay myself. I'm like, pay myself, nigga, chips. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get a snack or all of that kind of silly shit. But no, pay yourself first, man. Put some money into something that can become an asset for you, something that will actually benefit your legacy. You know, go and drop money in the stock market. Right now, I've been dropping so much money in the AT&T stocks because they have high dividend yield. You know, one of my accounts, less than $100 less than $200 in AT&T stocks, and every 3 months I get $5. You know, so in dividends. So, for example, say that's a $10,000 account. You know, that's $125 every 3 months that they'll send back to me that I can reinvest, and then you keep increasing that. You know, that's just a small example. You have so many options, but you need to be exploring these options, and you need to be telling your children about these options. You know, I understand everybody wants to have a little fun in this life and all of that shit, but fun is overrated.
It is,
especially when you don't have shit and you don't have anything to pass on. That fun is overrated.
And you coming back after the fun with less. How do we increase the greatness in our children?
Sharing knowledge.
Sharing knowledge. Also reinforcing in them that they are great.
Yeah.
Because
you have to tell them.
Yeah.
It has to be something that's always in the back of their mind.
Yeah.
You brainwash them.
Yeah.
In that sense.
That's a good phrase to use. I agree.
It's true.
Because that's what normal programming is being used in schools. Schools are indoctrination. Public schools are indoctrination camps. And media is programming these kids. So you have to do your due diligence
to counteract that. You know,
just like they did with the Black Panther Party, you know, right? Sent people in to infiltrate inside.
yeah,
They didn't come from the outside because they knew from the outside that the people would see it. So they had to say, okay, let's disrupt them from the inside.
yeah,
And that's what's going on. That's how a lot of parents are struggling right now. The ones that do rights, the ones that want better for their children. You know, you're up against massive resistance. It's a serious fight for your child. So for our community, it starts with just one kid, man. Just knowing that they're great, and I'm very big on that.
yeah.
You know, even if they're not my family members, I'll see, you know, something great about a kid, and I'll push that.
Yeah, you got a lot. I know a lot of Black people too. We focus on telling our children that they're attractive. Fuck that.
Oh, they so cute.
That shit does not matter.
Yeah, no.
It does not matter in the grand scheme of things. You need to be telling your children things that are actually functional. You know, you can make this amount of money, or you can be this successful. You can achieve this accolade.
You're great.
You know, you can be welcome in this environment. You have to be telling them these things constantly. You know, attractiveness and all of that for self-confidence, that's great. But those things come naturally when you become the best at something. You know,
it's added to it for sure.
when you find something that you can be the best at, one of the best, where everybody reveres you, that's important.
Yeah.
And that starts at a young age.
Yeah. That was the scene in Chevalier where he's walking by and people are just touching him.
Yeah.
I've learned that for a long time, what that
So,
means.
wow.
What that means. For somebody to just want to touch you. I think we talked about this before. There's a picture of The Rock. I gotta find it. Yeah, picture of The Rock, man, doing a bicep curl when he was promoting Fast and Furious, the first one he was in, and he was over in China, and this little Asian lady is holding on to his bicep, tears.
Like, this shit is so crazy
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. She was dripping.
She was losing her mind.
She was losing her mind.
You know, she losing her mind.
Yeah. You know, is it because of the bicep or is it because it's The Rock?
It's because everything that he embodies.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of my first, what is the word? First celebrities that I acknowledged and recognized growing up.
Sure.
Because I loved his charisma.
Yeah,
And
of
I
course.
said, I want to have that kind of charisma. I want to be able to talk to people.
Yeah. Charisma's powerful.
You know,
yeah.
or not only can I be eloquent and well spoken about the things that I'm passionate about, but if people are being unjust or unfair, I can talk shit to them too and put them back in their place in you know, in honor of others who may need my support or whatever it is. So it is important to see those things. You know, but people talk about representation and we get it wrapped up in the very, very silly shit.
Yeah.
You know, let's not worry about representation in Disney
Black
movies
Mermaid. Black Mermaid.
and being cute and all of all of that silly bullshit. Fuck all of that.
I get to see me as a black mermaid.
As a mermaid. None of us are ever gonna be mermaids.
Hey, what I said about Woman King.
None of us are ever gonna be Power Rangers.
What I say about the Woman King. I said there better be an influx of women in the gyms training and learning martial arts, and it's not.
I ain't got no new contracts teaching women self-defense or martial arts, unfortunately, but you know, just tell your children things that are functional, man.
They were jumping over horses and flipping over men and hitting them with machetes and blocking bullets with the machete, man.
But yeah, that's something how we get into mending our community is number one, you start in the immediate vicinity, the children who you can reach, your nieces and nephews, you know, maybe your neighbor's kids or the kids who are coming and running up to your child when you're going to pick them up from school. Just drop some gems. You know, tell them that they're very intelligent. That
they're great.
Tell them that they're capable. Tell them that all things are possible. And you know, share valuable information with them. Stop with this cute shit. Stop with the vanity and the arrogance. We don't need any of that. We need functionality. Tell them that they can manage money before they even know what it means. Teach them how to pay bills. Show them how it is that you're paying bills. Let them know that these things are imperative to their legacy. You know, that's my remedy for what it is that's going on.
Great show, guys. Another great one in the books. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Take this week to start applying these principles.
Yeah.
You know, let's make some moves.
And if
Let's
you
make
don't
some
know
things.
something, God damn it,
Go learn it.
you got Google, man. Quit playing.
Mm-hmm.
We all got access to Google. Quit fucking around.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about you. It's about the children.
Yeah.
It's always about the children. As it concerns the future and moving forward and ascension and elevation, it is about the children. Not saying that it's too late for some of us, but I know that the children are definitely slated to be here much longer than we are. So give them something.
Stop being selfish. Get out there
Give
and
them
give
something.
Yeah. No
Have
doubt.
a good night.
Have a great one. See you on Thursday night.
It'll catch in a second.
I stay calm and fact. I've been on the grind so long, hoes can never call me that. Please keep it short. I don't speak for all the rap. I'm your mechanic. I don't want no parts of whack. Keep throwing darts and wax. I'ma melt you. Every beat got a birthday. I just make it special. If you came to wrestle, maybe we can do that. Chat and bring the doses and show you where your shoes at. Exactly where the proof at. I ain't gotta prove stats. I don't need the hookup. I've been staying blue-black. Straight from where the news at. Life-size showdown. Story I survived. Made
You
a
know, they don't
man
record that last hour now. They record it, but they don't show up in the
I'm a broken cat.
screen capture.
Every stroke is passionate. Asking why he smashing shit. I'm just practicing so I can get it in when it's out. Ain't no accidents.